One second. Yeah, I'm asking the elected officials to make their way to the booth tent. Thank you. Just want to make a really quick announcement. If there's any elected officials here, please make your way to the blue tent to my right. If you're an elected official, please make your way to the blue tent to my right. Thank you. Again, if there's any elected officials that are still in the crowd here, can you please make your way to the blue tent to my right? Thank you. Okay. That's who we're waiting on. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Again, just one last time, all the elected officials here that are present, if you can please make your way to the blue tent to my right so we can begin today's joyous occasion. Thank you. morning, everyone. If you have one of the rally signs, if you can hold them up for me, please. Like high so we can see them. Can we wave them side to side or wave them in the air, please? All right, on the count of 3, we're going to start a chant, all right? On 3, we're going to all scream, Jack, Jack, Jack. You ready? You got it? All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Jack, 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 Jack. Now listen, you also got to wave your signs, all right? There we go. Jack, 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 Jack. There we go. There we go. Jack, Jack. There we go. You guys look so good. Anybody that's highlighted or anybody that's handwritten. So, yeah, I know. Good morning, everyone. My name is Devin Jackson, and I first want to say it's an honor and a privilege to be here today, to be the MC for today's special occasion. At this time, I would like to take time to acknowledge all the elected officials that are present with us. City Councilwoman Mary Platt Clark, Baltimore County Executive Johnny Oseski, Delegate Cheryl Glenn, Baltimore County Executive Stuart Pittman, Anne Arundel County Executive Stuart Pittman, City Councilman Ed Reiser, City Councilman Eric Castillo, City Councilman Robert Stokes, Baltimore City Comptroller Joan Pratt, Register of Wills Belinda Conaway, Delegate Regina Boyce, Delegate Tamish Branch, United States Senator Chris Van Hollen, Speaker of the House Adrian Jones, City Council Vice President Sharon Middleton, City Councilman Leon Pinkett, County Councilman Julian Jones, former City Councilwoman Helen Holton, former County Councilman Johnny O. Sr., former City Councilman Carl Stokes, Central Committee 44, Harry Amani, Delegate Ben Brooks, Jasmine Collins, Central 45th Committee, Jasmine Collins. We went to high school together, I'm sorry. 45th State Senate Central Committee, Denise Richards. 45th State Central Committee, Eric Booker. Former Senator Joan Carter Conway. And former Sylvia Williams is also with us in attendance today. Former President Pro Tem Nathaniel McFadden. At this time, I'd like to introduce Sheriff John Anderson is also. Sheriff John Anderson on the picture today. Clarence Dewburn is also here with us today. Is there anybody else? Former Senator Nathan Irby. And former Delegate Bilal Ali. All the past and present is here today. Right. And Kevin Parsons, State Senate Committee. All right, thank you, guys. At this time, I'd like to introduce Reverend Carl Solomon of United Baptist Church, the mayor's pastor.
Let us take a moment to pray. Every head bowed, every eye closed. God, here we are on this Saturday, last Saturday of October. 2,000 plus years since you raised your son from the dead. 2,000 plus years since you've proven indeed that you are the God of all things that are possible. We stand here today beyond the strategies, the schemes that have had every intention to keep us from this moment. Those subtle and not so subtle endeavors and efforts by seen and unseen forces that have sought to oppose your plans. But because of you, nothing devised, nothing formed against us has been able to prosper. Yes, Lord, we are here today because you covered us. You kept us. You have showed us your favor. And once again, Lord, we say thank you. Thank you especially for covering and keeping, for guiding and directing this your servant, Bernard Jack Young. Thank you for your hand being on him and for allowing all of us to see your possibilities through him. Thank you for his wife and his family. Thank you for a supportive faith community who lift his name in prayer. Thank you for his dedicated staff and for those you've assigned to him to ensure he could serve in excellence. Thank you for all the ways you looked after him and have encouraged him and blessed him. Above all, we thank you for now how you have positioned him for this moment. You have led and lifted him to serve you and to be a witness of your grace and mercy, of your favor and your potential. You've navigated him through all challenges and enabled him to champion them all. And now, God, we ask your blessings as he continues. We ask for your guidance as he continues. We ask that you would encircle him with encouragers, equip him with all the resources, empower him with your spirit, and Lord, bless him and bless each and every one of us with your presence here today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay. Please join me in, sorry. Next we'll have Anne Arundel County Executive Stuart Pittman. Yeah, you guys can be seated. You guys can be seated.
All right, they put me first because I'm the worst speaker. So, no, I'm just kidding. So, you might be wondering why the Anne Arundel County Executive, the county that's just south of here, we share a border, why I care who's the mayor of Baltimore. First, I guess I just want to say that, we're all elected to serve people, and it doesn't really matter which side of a boundary those people live, whether it's Brooklyn Park on our side or Brooklyn. Nobody really knows where the boundary is anyway. I've heard it goes through the middle of some houses, so you pay your taxes based on what room you're in that day. But nobody really knows the difference. So we're a region, and we all work together, and that's why we've also got Johnny O from Baltimore County here. We've got all the surrounding areas here, surrounding Baltimore, to support Jack. And, I do have to say, though, that some of those surrounding areas kind of did Baltimore wrong for a lot of years. And we ended up sucking a lot of people and a lot of jobs out of Baltimore City for a long time, saying, come on to where we got lower taxes and we got pleasant living and we got this and we got that. And now we've ended up with a whole lot of problems that we didn't expect as a result of all that. But I think we've come past that. And when we're talking about transportation, we're talking about housing, we're talking about education, we're talking about jobs, we're talking about the region. So we're talking about everybody working together to get things done. But the other question is, the real question is, why Jack Young? Why do I want Jack Young to be the mayor? He already is the mayor, and I'm really glad he is, but why I want him to stay the mayor for another 4-year term? So, part of it, I got to say, I can't really explain. It's a heart thing. You meet somebody, and you trust them. And I think I would trust this guy with my life. I know I would. So it's integrity. It's also curiosity. This guy, he's always asking questions. He's not like some politicians who think they know it all. He's asking questions. And then there's also bravery. And he'll tell you what he thinks even if you don't want to hear it. And I have a little story to tell about that. The mayor invited me to a little horse race y'all have over in Park Heights. It's called the Preakness. And I was honored to be invited. I went to his table. We had lunch, and we weren't paying a whole lot of attention to the race, but we did know that over in the infield there was this great big old tent, and it was the Stronach Group, the ones who own the racetrack. And I said, "You going over there?" You going to go over there? The city was suing the Stronach Group because the Stronach Group said they were going to pull out of Baltimore, take all their money, take the jobs, and not come back. And so, you remember the city of Baltimore and the racetrack folks were kind of at war with each other, and the mayor said, of course I'm going over there. I'm going to go talk to that Belinda Stronach, the billionaire lady that's in charge over there. And he did. And we waited. And everybody thought it was hopeless. Nobody thought you could turn that company around. And a few months later, the mayor had gotten the smartest people he could find, sat them in a room, told them to come up with an arrangement, and he walked out not only with a horse race, he walked out with the land. The city of Baltimore is going to control the land, and a year-round facility with jobs all year with ball fields and an event center and a place that can really turn Park Heights around. And the way I see that is that's statesmanship. That's leadership. That's a man who said, I'm not afraid of you and your money. And I don't care whether everybody says you're my enemy. I'm going to make you my ally. And so he reached out. And I think that's the bottom line with Mayor Young is he will reach out. He'll reach out to my county. He'll reach out to Baltimore County. He'll reach out to the billionaire that happens to own a facility in the city that's saying they're going to leave. He'll reach out, but I'll tell you one thing he'll never do. He won't sell out. So that's why I'm looking forward to working with the mayor to get reelected and have another 4 years of working together. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce Baltimore County Executive Johnny Olszewski.
Jack, 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 Jack. Yeah! It is an honor to be with all of you today and to be here in support of Mayor Jack Young. You know, I believe that a transformation of Baltimore is on the horizon. It's on the horizon if we go out and claim it. And I want to be part of that. And I know you want to be part of that. I want to be part of that because I know in Baltimore County, just like Stuart Pittman knows in Anne Arundel County, that our counties will only reach our fullest potential and that Maryland will only reach its fullest potential in partnership with a growing and vibrant Baltimore city. I am proud to be here today because Baltimore has in Jack Young a mayor who understands this connectivity, a man who actively works to forge those partnerships that drive progress, and a man who understands both the needs and the opportunity of this great city. A man who is already and will continue to roll up his sleeves to get the job done. You know, literally right after Mayor Young was sworn into office, he and I sat down. And he was already eager to talk about the ways that we can work together in the city and the county. And some of those things were very small, but will go a long way to improve the lives of our residents. Things like making sure our snow plows don't turn around in the middle of the street because they hit an artificial line that says we're separate. We look beyond that because we want to serve people. Other ideas are really big and transformative, like economic development and transportation. And just like County Executive Pittman said, I can't wait to work with the county executive, Mayor Young, to seal the deal this upcoming legislative session that will save Preakness, keep it in Baltimore, and infuse hundreds of millions of dollars of investment in our shared Northwest corridor. My first priority is the well-being of Baltimore County and its residents. Just like I know for Jack, his first priority is the well-being of Baltimore City and its residents. But we both know that we can do great things for our jurisdictions and the region. These things are not mutually exclusive. We're already seeing the positive impact of this approach. And I know that even more positive things are on the horizon because together we are claiming that brighter future. We are claiming that transformation. That's why I'm here to support Jack Young for mayor, because he loves this city. He loves this city and he will fight for its future. Jack Young is the partner Baltimore County needs moving forward. He's the partner Baltimore and Arundel County needs. He's the partner we all need. So let's get out there, let's knock doors, let's tell the story, and let's elect Jack Young this upcoming election.
I would like to thank the Dunbar Band. I stand here today as a proud Dunbar alumni. Thank you also, Johnny O. At this time, I am pleased to introduce Senator Chris Van Hollen.
Thank you. Good morning, Baltimore. The great American city of Baltimore. And I am proud to be with all of you today to make sure that we keep this great mayor in office, and that's why I'm here to endorse Jack Young as mayor of the city of Baltimore. Because Jack is the right person at the right time to move Baltimore City forward, to lead it to that next renaissance of Baltimore City that he envisions and that we all will fight for. You know, when Jack moved in to the mayor's office, it was at a difficult and challenging moment for the city. But I watched him, like all of this city watched him, hit the ground running, providing steady leadership, making sure he restored confidence to this city at a very uncertain time. And so I believe that Jack Young has earned the right to take the city from the next phase, to take the city from restoring confidence to that great Baltimore City renaissance. That is the next stage, and that is why we need Jack Young as mayor, to strengthen public safety, to expand job opportunities, to strengthen neighborhoods, and to help reform the city government to move it forward in this 21st century. Now, to do that, you need to build a team. You need to build Team Baltimore, because Jack Young knows, and all of us know, and all of us from all over the state know, that in order to have a strong Maryland, you need to have the heart of the state be strong, and that means you need to have Baltimore City be strong. And so you need to build a team, and that's what you see here today. All of you who are gathered here and all the people who are up here on this stage. You see Jack bringing together city leaders. You see Jack Young bringing together county leaders, because counties have to work with the city to make sure that everybody does well and everybody prospers and that everybody's included in progress. You need help from the state. I served in the state legislature. I know how important that partnership is between Baltimore City and the state of Maryland. And you see state leaders here. And you need a strong partnership at the federal level. When Jack Young took the reins as mayor, he and we had an emergency meeting to focus on how the federal government could do more to help the city of Baltimore. And we're putting together a plan, and that plan includes ways that the federal government could do more on public safety, includes more investment in water infrastructure, more federal investment in schools and job opportunities, federal investment to make sure we have a thriving Port of Baltimore, but also centers for jobs throughout this city. So we need a plan, and Jack Young has brought people together to make that plan. Yesterday, we said our final goodbye to a great son of Baltimore, a champion for Maryland, and an American hero of our times, Elijah Cummings. We mourned his loss and we celebrated his life. And we need to recognize that with the passing of Elijah, we left a big hole, a void in leadership in the city, especially with respect to the federal level. And that is why it's so important that we join together, that we unify, because this is a great city, but its best days are still ahead of us, and that's why we need Jack Young as mayor. So I am very pleased to be here today to endorse Jack Young as mayor of Baltimore. Jack, 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 Jack.
Thank you, Senator. Please join me in welcoming Delegate Regina Boyce.
Good morning. Good morning. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And I am glad to be here today to share with you and tell you about a true public servant, Bernard C. Jack Young. I met the mayor in 2010 when the council voted for him to be the next city council president. I was an active community member who wanted to work for the city. So I contacted my councilwoman, Mary Pat Clark, and in her very way, I told her that I wanted to work for her, and she goes, well, I mean, Jack just got elected. He needs a whole new staff. So I applied, and during my interview, the senior staff members stated that they were really looking for individuals who were not only experienced community leaders and activists, they were looking, most importantly, for those who could match Jack's energy. Because, as they stated, he had a lot of energy. I think they could barely keep up with them. So I kind of shrugged and was like, yeah, okay, sure. You smile and you say, yeah. And I went through some interviews and finally received the position as a community liaison. And for about the next 6 months, every time Jack saw me, he would say, Mary Pat said you was good. You better be good. And so we would chuckle, but when he meant good, when the staff spoke of energy, what was really being drilled into us was who Jack was. A servant. Do you have the energy to serve the people of Baltimore City? Are you willing to be good enough to sit and listen and provide resources and explain this complex thing called government and coordinate on behalf of our residents? Will you be responsive? Will your yes be yes and your no be no's and your I don't knows, I don't know? But most importantly, will you find the answers that you don't know? Have you done all you can? This is what working with Jack was like. He demanded a high standard of servitude, responsiveness, stellar customer service, and for us to have the utmost respect for all people we were working with, because there were consequences when we did not treat people with the respect and dignity he said and we know that they deserved. You see, Jack lives by a motto given to him by Clarence DePerns, which he has passed down to his staff and to all of us. If you take care of the people will take care of you. And this city is full of people, and people are at the heart of what we do. What we do and don't do for them will cause our city to fall. And what I know about Jack is that Jack believes in people. He sees their potential, the infinite possibilities for their lives. Before coming to City Hall, I had the privilege to see an example of a top-notch public servant and my councilwoman, Mary Pat Clark. But I had the honor of learning to be a stellar public servant under my leadership with Jack. I learned to love people more than I already did. I learned what it means to be a servant, to be called, and the responsibility it takes. I learned that the only way to make change is through people, and because relationships matter. As mayor of Baltimore City, Bernard C. Jack Young is still and will continue to lead us to be better servants because he will raise the standard. Jack is personable. There isn't a person he doesn't know. Transparent. He wants to get to the truth together. He's humble. He never speaks of the good works because he knows, as a God-fearing man, that the glory goes to God. He knows about accountability because he believes that our feet should be held to the fire and wants his feet to be held to the fire. He is willing and able because he is still here working with us and for us. He's fun and energetic, as we all know. A man who wears his feelings and his heart on his sleeve. A man who takes personal and professional relationships seriously and is a faithful and a loyal friend because he calls everybody a friend. And who in time I've known him not to take this job as a public servant for granted. The Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. And I believe that the much is mayor of Baltimore City. The requirement, although it is daunting and it is scary, is to stand in this position God has granted him to have for such a time as this. This is why I'm supporting the mayor of Baltimore, because it is time to stand in our positions and do all we can for as long as we can while the opportunity has been given us to do so. Jack, you could do all things through Christ who strengthens you. But let me introduce, because I did write this down. Honor to introduce all of our mentors, actually, our colleague, the first woman elected to the city council as president, what I like to call a tiny giant, my second mom, Council Representative Mary Pat Clark of the 14th District.
Isn't it? No, that day is done. I'm going off into the sunset, but not quite yet. I'd like to remain long enough to make sure that Bernard Jack Young is our mayor and guiding us in to a Renaissance future, mixing the young, the old, the experienced, the new, and all the peoples that make Baltimore City so great. But my job is to do some introductions and a little background, and I've already been outdone in every regard, but isn't it wonderful when one of your former students excels beyond your wildest dreams? Once upon a time, a long time ago, I served in the Baltimore City Council, Burns, Clark, Irby, 2nd District, yay, Dunbar. And then I lost an election, and then I came back as president of the Baltimore City Council in 1987. I know you weren't born. There was a government. We did things. I was the president. And so basically we came back. I came back. And this time I came with a young man who by that time was so interested in his community and the people around it, who was related to most of the people in the neighborhood around. But in his spare time, I hired him for $2,000 a year to be my liaison worker for as many nights and weekends as his wife and family would permit. Jack Young drove us crazy. Every Monday morning after a long weekend in churches, at events, at meetings, he would call with a list of constituent issues, and every Tuesday morning, he'd call to see if they were done. And every Wednesday, when they weren't, he would call agency directors so that he would jump right over us to get the work done for the people he had served. All right. All right. And so, Jack Young, for me, I know, as you have said, Regina, he worries about the people and knows that if the people are successful, the city will rise. And you have to do it almost family by family some days, but it's worth every effort. So, today I'm going to make an introduction, but I want to just take a minute to say that I have supported Jack. We both came back to the council. Well, Jack came back when I left. I guess it was only logical. After losing another citywide election back in 1995, he came in as a council person, and I joined him later when we went back to these small districts. So there we were since 2004, serving together. So I've had the privilege of watching Jack move from being a fellow council member to a wonderful president, and now to an important transitional mayor for our Renaissance future. Continuity within the context of times that are changing for the better. Now, I just want to say a couple things about Jack, and then I'll make the introductions I keep talking about. Jack Young talks careful and conservative, but Jack Young is one of the most progressive legislators and leaders I've ever worked with. You just gotta watch it happen. I'll give you two examples. On Monday afternoon, the City Council is about to approve the water affordability legislation. Radical for people, written by advocates, and about to be passed by the Baltimore City Council and signed by the man who was its lead sponsor as president, the mayor of Baltimore City. Now that's progressive. It took 2 years. We got it. Also, before even that, and also it took time, Jack Young as president created, and we all supported, something radical called the Children and Youth Fund. You know, a lot of people talk about youth. They say kids are the most important thing. I agree. I got 10 grandchildren, 4 kids, and an investment personal in the Baltimore City Public Schools and in our children. Oh, I know you got me beat. And that's probably just as well. But Jack Young got us all to agree and the city to vote for taking a part of the money from every year's budget and dedicating it to the youth fund and having youth as part of the decision makers about what marginal groups that don't usually get funded should be funded because they're working in a small area, but that's what it's all about. And finally, we did, pass minimum wage here in Baltimore City. Yes, it got vetoed, but we got it passed, thanks to Jack being supportive of it in the council, because it's controversial. And although it got vetoed, we basically, I think, made the state adopt their own before we got back and overrode a veto with Jack as mayor. So it all worked out okay, kind of. It's just not quite as good as ours. So yes, finally, Jack changed his mind. He's running for mayor. I always knew he would, because he would get there and find out how much more he can do to help people and the city. Like when he said, "Can we talk?" at Pimlico, at the Preakness. And so now, like, we have Saturday rec centers open. Hey. Actions speak louder than words. We got an action guy here. He's doing a good job, and just because he doesn't pump up his own accomplishments, we need to understand them if we're going to go forward. And now, to help us do that, the star of today's show, no, it's not the mayor. It's a young 10-year-old lady who happens to be the mayor's granddaughter, which makes her granddaughter-in-chief for a moment. Her name is Madison Young, ladies and gentlemen, Madison Young.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. Well, well, I'm super glad that my grandfather is running for mayor, and if I were old enough, I would vote. Ever since I was 5, I always thought, why does he work so hard? Well, 'cause having a hard job. Well, because having a hard job means you have to work late. He's just a sweet person, caring. He cares about my education. I asked him about what it was like when he was in school and all that stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next mayor of Baltimore City, my grandfather.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next mayor of Baltimore City, Mayor Jack Young.
Thank you, thank you. First, before I go any further, I want to also acknowledge all of the clergy that have joined us today. There's so many of my clergy friends out there. I also want to thank the business community. There's a lot of business community and community leaders out there as well. So I want to thank you all. Former Senator Larry Young. And former Senator John Peaker. Hey, y'all see the rain coming? Someone be real quick, okay? Thank you all for coming. Can we sit down now? Yeah, you can sit down. It's still morning. So good morning, Baltimore. You showed up and you showed out today. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. We're ready to hit the ground running, and that's because of all of you gathered here today. Each of you have promised to dedicate your time and talent to fuel our campaign, and I'm looking forward to us working together over the coming months. As we lay out a vision for our Baltimore, a great city that's home to clean and healthy communities with equitable neighborhood development to support all children, all families, and all elders. To my incredible granddaughter, Madison, who accompanied me to the stage today, you and your sisters make Pop-Pop so very proud. I love each of you. Thank you for making today extra special. To my beautiful, strong, smart, loving, compassionate, devoted, and God-fearing wife, Darlene, we've had an incredible ride these past 40 years. Thank you for building a life for me that included raising two beautiful daughters, Tiara and Kendra. Thank you for standing with me in service to our community. My role as a public servant has not been easy, but I could not do the work I've been called to do without you by my side. You're my rock. To my wonderful brothers and sisters who were able to make it here today, please raise your hands. Thank you for your love. It means a lot to me. To my pastor, Pastor Solomon, thank you very much for providing us with a powerful invocation. I'm often reminded of the verse from Matthew chapter 19, where Jesus spoke to his disciples about the difficulty of a rich man gaining entry into heaven. It would be easier, Jesus told them, for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Confused, Jesus' disciple turned to him and cried out, "Well, who can save us?" With men, he replied, "This is impossible, but with God, all things are possible." To Senator Van Hollen, I appreciate you being here for me, but I'm more thankful for your unwavering commitment to the city of Baltimore. You have been a friend to our city and have delivered over and over and over again. Thank you. To County Executive Johnny Olszewski and Stuart Pittman, thank you for being my regional partners. Baltimore is stronger because both of you are true friends to our city. I'm looking forward to our continued work together. To the boss, I had the honor of working decades ago for one of the most dedicated public servants I've ever met, Mary Pat Clark. You've been a wonderful friend, and I've been honored to learn from you and to call you my colleague. Thank you for your kind words. Delegate Boyce, I'm like a father again. I'm so very proud of you. I remember years ago when you worked for me as a neighborhood liaison in the council president's office. I knew then that you'll one day hold public office. Not because you were impressed by titles or with climbing the ladder of success, but because you had an incredible heart for our city and a spirit of service. Thank you for making your city proud, and thank you for making me proud. And to our North Star, who's not here physically, but is certainly watching over. His beloved city of Baltimore, the chairman and the greatest champion for Baltimore, Congressman Cummings. Many of us looked on yesterday as our friend received a fitting tribute to life well lived. Please join me in a moment of silence for our dear friend, Elijah. We miss you so very much, and I plan to dedicate this campaign and my remaining time as a public servant to your memory and lasting legacy of service. May we have a moment of silence. Thank you. That man meant so much to me personally. And I know he meant so much to all of you. And to see a voice that was so powerful, breaking down barriers of oppression, discrimination. I know I'm off script, guys, but you have to forgive me. A man who thought it was not robbery to uplift the least of them, who saw value in our young people. He often said, we're sending messages into a world that we might not never see. I didn't understand it at the time, that he was saying he would never see it. But we're going to see it for you because we're going to keep your vision and your legacy alive. As long as I have blood in my body, I'm going to make sure that we keep his legacy alive. I'm extremely proud of my record of success as a legislator. With your help, we've led the effort to reform the Baltimore Police Department. I was the first citywide elected official to call for the Department of Justice to conduct an investigation into allegations of police abuse and misconduct. I work with my council colleagues to introduce body cameras, which have helped reduce complaints against officers and is leading to a rebuilding of trust between the public and our police officers. That was huge, y'all. We can get a clap for that one. We passed a historic bill that invests tens of millions of dollars into affordable housing, making Baltimore a national leader. We created a grant-making process through the Baltimore Children and Youth Fund that helped get dollars to grassroots organizations doing good work in our communities. We passed an equity bill that my administration is making strides to implement. This means that for the first time, the city of Baltimore will include equity in every decision we make as a government, and yes, it's about time. We accomplished a lot together, and I'm looking forward to doing so much more. Baltimore, I was humbled to become your 51st mayor 5 months ago. As you all know, we came into office during a difficult moment, but we provided a steady hand to move Baltimore forward at a time when our city needed it the most. Just before I assumed office, Baltimore suffered one of the most crippling cyber attacks to ever hit a major American city. For several days, the city struggled to complete routine transactions that required internet connectivity. Together, my staff and others, the state government, the federal government, we rolled up our sleeves, got to work, and fixed the problem. Within weeks, we were using workarounds that returned us back to basics and allowed Baltimore to get back to business quicker than most people thought possible. Together, we gained steam and put our shoulders to the grindstone. Shortly thereafter, we removed the virus from our network and restored connectivity. We did it with teamwork and by working hard around the clock. Together, we were able to move Baltimore forward. It's that level of determination that I brought to the job each and every day for the past 5 months. And it's that type of commitment that will continue as I seek your vote to remain serving as your mayor. Together, we'll work to make Baltimore one of America's safest cities. And we're going to do that by creating a 21st century police department that will invest in modern technology and recruiting. Together, we will reduce recidivism through proven programs and focus on job growth. We'll reduce gun crime and ensure our police department complies with our Constitution and the consent decree. We're going to reduce the overtime and reallocate the savings from law enforcement to human investment. And I can't do that without your support. We must stop the crime, the shootings, the murders, the carjackings, and all the petty crimes that happen in the city of Baltimore. We have to do this together. I cannot do it by myself. The council cannot do it by itself. The police department can't do it by itself. But I'll be damned if we working together with the community that we all can't reduce crime in Baltimore City. And we're going to... Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're going to ensure that Baltimore is no longer leading the state in the number of deaths due to opioid overdose. Together, we're going to bring neighborhoods and government together to achieve a cleaner, healthier Baltimore. And we're going to do that by holding our agencies accountable to make sure they provide you with the service you pay for, and they will improve performance. We're going to focus on cleaning Baltimore's gateways. We're going to seek to grow alternative transportation options, working with our county partners as we pave more roads and fill more potholes on city streets. And we're also going to plant more trees. We're going to work to decrease illegal dumping and fine lawbreakers. Illegal dumpers, we're coming after you. We'll increase the number of community cleanups and care allots. And I promise to be Baltimore's biggest champion for children, family, and elders. And I'm going to do that by helping elder Baltimoreans keep their homes and retire in place with dignity. We'll provide credible mentors and job and educational opportunities to our city youth. We'll focus on re-enrolling students who have dropped out of school. So if you dropped out of school, we're looking for you. We're going to make sure that our children are entering school ready to learn, that they're reading at grade level by third grade, that they're graduating from high school ready for college and career. The path ahead will require hard work and won't be easy. But when have Baltimoreans ever shied away from difficulties? We don't. We instead lead into challenges. Instead, we lean into challenges. Apologize for that. In the coming months, I plan to lay out a vision for our city. In this moment, as before, I'm reminded that of a line from Matthew chapter 19. With men, he replied, "This is impossible. But with God, all things are possible." From my heart, with love, thank you for your support, and I promise to work with each of you to move Baltimore forward. Thank you.
Jack. Before we conclude today's program, I want to take time to acknowledge former Councilman Jim Craft, and right there in the corner, and current Councilman Ryan Dorsey. So he's in the crowd, right there. Thank you all for coming out today and vote Jack Young for mayor. To volunteer, please see anyone with a clipboard. Thank you so much.
And thank you again. I see one of my nimblets out there. I pinned this shot on the backboard. No other than Leon Love. He's the tallest guy out there. Wave your hand, Leon. I blocked the shot, y'all. Started a fast break. Gave the ball to Timmy Green, and he missed the layup.
Also, if anyone's here looking for employment, there is a job fair happening at 10 East North Avenue. Again, it's 10 East North Avenue. If you're looking for employment, there's a job fair taking place right now. Thank you. Let me get my word out of the way. You gotta text that one to me. Yeah. I'm doing good, bro.
That's my other son right there.